Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lebanon Board of Park Commissioners. I'd like to call the meeting to order and let the record show that all members are present. And if everyone's had a chance to review the minutes, I'd entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Is there any old business to come before the board?
Unless you want to talk about the splash pad dog park restroom. Do you want updates?
Give those reports real quick?
Sure. Earlier we had a meeting, a pre-bid meeting for the splash pad that's going in Abner Longley. Met with Brian, I don't know what he's a landscape architect that works for Cortex Context. Anyway, met with him. The pre-bid meeting is to look over the site and to see if there answer any questions from the people that are contractors that are bidding on the job. We had 2 contractors that showed up. It was not a boy, train of thought losing it. It was not a mandatory meeting, so we had 2 contractors, R.L. Turner and Brandt Construction, 2 of them that had worked on our pool project at Seashore Water Park. They showed up to the meeting, asked a few questions. They will be submitting their bids by Tuesday, the 13th, next week. They have to have any bids, any contractor has to have their bids in by the 4 o'clock, and then we will open them up at the Board of Works at 5:30 on Tuesday, next Tuesday. Then we will consult with the engineers that are in charge of this program and go from there. And we'll also, the pool committee will look over to see if we have any concerns from the bids. And that's where we are on that project. On the dog park, we've changed, since our last meeting, we have changed the location. The location is now going back to the west of the conservation where the club is, the west corner of the property, back by the pavement. Unfortunately, right now, is it east?
It's east.
Let's see, I directionally challenged.
That's what I was thinking.
It is east. Yeah, it is east. Okay. Yeah, the Conservation Club's west.
Kinda
Anyway,
southeast.
back in the corner, back by the parking lot there on the, decided that would be a good area for it. We've cleaned it out, had some grading work done, and now the KV69 project's going through there, so they're making kind of a mess of things. As soon as they get out of our way, we can go ahead. We have fence quotes coming in. I believe we've received all 3 quotes on that. The committee will be sitting down and looking at security for the fencing, and also looking at which fence company we're going to go with, and pick out some pavers and things like that. So that's moving right along. I don't know that it'll be ready before the snow flies, which could be tomorrow. And then on the restroom project, we've met with Gary Ladd again, Ladd Engineering, and he can't do the rest of the topography on the Abner Longley and Memorial until the leaves come down. That way he can do his topo better. Also the restroom demolition and also the addition to the barn will be coming. Those bids should be, or not the bids, but the package should be out by probably in 2 weeks. And so by December we should have all that advertised, because you have to advertise twice, which we did for the splash pad. Advertise twice for bids, and then we'll see who is interested in doing the work there. So there again, these projects will be completed obviously in the spring. Triangle asphalt on the paving on the 2 paths in the Memorial Park. We're awarded the bid for both paths. We had 3 contractors out for that. Gave us prices, appreciate that, but Triangle Asphalt was low man, and like them because they're local also, and they were the low bids, so they will be doing those projects. hopefully if the plant doesn't close down before then due to the cold weather. That's pretty much the old business. We put a demo papers in for the Conservation Club, so we're sealing up the sewage lines, the gas lines, and buttoning up the utilities so we can go ahead and knock that building down. We did offer it to the police and fire. Police have been using it ever since we've owned it for the canines. The fire department, however, had IDEM come in. There is asbestos floor, there is asbestos in the ceiling, so it isn't a good burn project for them. However, we can demolish it without having to remove all the asbestos. It's such a light quantity, however, it could not be burned, so we will be demolishing that building. And I have 2 bids on that, waiting on one more bid to come in. Once I get that bid, we'll award one of those companies. That's where I am on old business. Any questions?
Any questions?
Okay.
Okay. New business. Are we, okay.
Yeah, new business. Today I have Allison Morton and Taylor Edens, who's about to get married real soon, by the way. Thought you'd like that. Yeah. Anyway, we have some software, and they've done quite a bit of investigating, looking at other companies, obviously with the dog park and how we're going to have to do the security on there, and also I'll let them explain all the software and the benefits to you, bringing it before the park board to see if we can install this and get it moving in our park system. So I'll take it over to 2 ladies. By the way, the programs director, Taylor Edens, for those of you that haven't met her, Allison Morton, and Taylor Edens is our office manager. I think you've all met him, but just to make you aware. There you go.
All right, so we've got Dustin and Brian here on the phone. Can you hear us, Dustin and Brian?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you too.
Okay. I don't know if we can get this on the microphone so you guys can hear them.
And Dustin and Brian are?
Okay. Okay, so they're going to just kind of walk us through what's called Civic Rec, and it's just a new software that we're wanting to bring to the parks. Taylor and I brought this from the office too. Pass around. It's a little brochure of what they do. So, go ahead and take it away, Dustin.
All right. Hey, Dustin. Before you do that, just wanted to say hi, everybody. This is Brian. Had the opportunity to meet with Allison, John, and Taylor there. Great people, and we're looking forward to partnering with you guys. And think it'll be a good fit. We saw a lot of things we can help with, and other than that, I'll be quiet and let Dustin take over here and show you guys some stuff, if that sounds good.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right. Well, I heard I have 9 minutes and 55 seconds to show you everything. So this is going to be quick. I'm used to doing like 8-hour demos to explain our product. But anyway, so thank you for taking the time. This is our account page here. We're agnostic to different browsers. If that helps, so we can use Chrome or Explorer or Safari. This is my Explorer tab here. We don't need to download any apps or install anything. It works right on the web. So we've been web-based for ever since we've been in existence for the last 16 years. I see some smiles and laughs. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah. Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good. If you can't, just holler at me. Okay, so very simple to log in here with our Civic Rec account here. We're going to log in to rec1.com. A little background. We actually acquired Rec1 about 2 years ago. Civic Rec did. We were looking for a great software that's only been in Parks and Rec, only working with local government, and works very, very well. And we found Rec1 and I was like, okay, this is it. We had to talk the owner and creator into wanting to be acquired. He did not want to. He's turned down numerous offers for this software that we found and really loved. And you can see him right there, Landon Shank. He's the guy that created it 16 years ago. But anywho, so we're going to hop over to the public side. We're going to walk through a couple registrations, and then we'll come back here to the internal side and go over reports and answer some questions. Does that sound fair enough for tonight?
Yes.
That's good. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so we want to make this as simple and basic as possible. Our system is robust enough to where we can handle groups the size of Las Vegas, groups the size of Irvine, California, but also the small organizations of 10,000 population to make it simple enough for those groups as well. So on the public side, we're not going to brand anything Civic Rec. We want to brand you. We want to make this as pretty and nice as possible, and also make a seamless transition from your main website over to the public side. So this banner here is going to be whatever banner yours is on your website, so people aren't uncomfortable when they get redirected to the recreation software. So from here, just a couple things. We can filter keyword search. So I want to sign up for some swimming lessons tonight. So I'm just going to search here, swimming lessons, or just swim. There it is. I can search for it, and Guppy swimming lessons. Now, since I am logged in as my account, it's going to let me know who's eligible and who's not, based off of age. On the staff side, if you guys want to override the eligibility, you can allow that to do so. This is a permission-driven software. That way you guys can give different people different levels of permission based off of their admin or temporary help. So we'll go ahead and click on Ian here, add him to the cart. And it looks like we've got Ian for youth swimming lessons at $51. And we'll go ahead and close that out. I can add more things to the rental, or I can check out with just one thing as well. One nice thing with our eligibility filter, if I do want to search for Taylor, who's a 4-year-old female, I can click on her name and it would narrow down that search, so I don't have to thumb through that entire catalog and try to find things that a 4-year-old female can sign up for. I heard you guys have a pool, is that correct?
Yes, we sure do.
Awesome. So our facility rentals here, we give the community a few different ways to view their facilities. So with this right here, I'm going to show you the splash zone grid view. This right here is a 30,000-foot view of everything going on at our pool. On the left-hand side, we've got our rentable facilities, pavilions or shelter houses or cabanas, however you specify those if you even have things to rent out there. And then we can specify this for the day of the week across the top, or Beverly Hills, California. They do tennis courts, so they do this by the hour of the day. And as I move through the days of the week here, it's updating and letting me know what's available and what's not. Listing view just gives us another view. We can switch right here to the Pavilion 2, and it only shows me calendar of availability for that one pavilion. And the most popular, most engaging for the public, also for new help and temporary help that don't know where things are located, these hotspots now tell me, oh, Pavilion 1, right there by the water slide. Great. Pavilion 6, right there by concession stands. Okay? And then I do want to make one quick reservation here while I'm in here. Just say you're a community center as well. And with this right here, I just want to reserve a meeting room. All right, and also show you this. We can also do pictures. You can upload this inside the gallery, so that way your community can see what they're reserving before they make that reservation. Okay, so perfect. We add that to the cart, and you can see we've got facility rental deposits as well if you want to do those, and then security guard if you want to add in additional fees on add-ins to that. And then one last thing I want to sign up for is our ticketing event. This is an all-inclusive system. The price you guys pay, you get everything our system has to offer. We're not going to nickel and dime you per module or per functionality. Get everything we have, whether you use it now or whether you want to grow into it 6 months or a year down the road. With our concert series tickets module, we can sign up multiple people. So maybe you don't care about tickets, but you care about admission. So this could be a free ticket. You just want to know who's showing up and who's buying tickets for a certain day, or it could be an open-ended ticket as well. As I add that to the cart, if Dominic wants to bring a couple buddies, I can go ahead and make those additions right there in the shopping cart. I don't have to go back into the catalog. Any questions so far?
Nope. Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. So these prompt questions are additional pieces of information that I need from my citizens as they're signing up for activities. I don't need these pieces of information when they create their account, but I definitely want to know what type of events they're hosting at my community center. Will they be serving alcohol? Huge question there for them. Have they heard about it? Yes, no. These can be yes, no. These can be fill in the blanks. And then also we can make these as required. So if I try to continue without filling these out, not letting me continue, that way you as staff don't have to go chase people down and waste your staff time and chase people and figuring out their prompt question answers. And you also choose how often you want these acknowledged, whether it's every time they check out, once a year, or once a quarter. With our waivers, we are signing off on our waivers here. You can attach multiple waivers. You can attach one waiver. These waivers are then date and time stamped, and they are housed in the system, so you can go back and look at these. I've got a touchscreen computer. We are completely mobile, so I'm signing this right here with my finger. If you had an iPad or a tablet or a cell phone, you can sign right there on that screen as well. All right, I'm going to clear and reset this one. If I like it, I can keep it. If not, I can try again. I'm going to sign this one with my mouse. Maybe. All right, and we'll continue. All right, confirm our waivers and keep going. And then our payment page, very simple. It's going to list out here, before we get there, health assessment form. So if there's any form you need to be, that needs to be printed out and signed by a doctor or a physician to sign off on a physical, it's something they can do that. We don't want to keep sensitive information in the system because we are PCI compliant. We're at the highest level of PCI compliance as well. With the payment page here, we list out everything that's going on. Facility deposits, line item details, paid later if we want to pay things later. And then we can choose to pay with user credit. We can choose to pay with gift card, or we can choose with credit and or debit card. So it looks like I need to change this amount because I'm at the $419.69. Okay. All right. Review my transaction. All right, so double check everything. On my cell phone, I get frustrated when my cell phone asks me if I want to place a phone call or a FaceTime. Of course I want to place a phone call because that's what I chose. But on here, it's nice to have that second layer. In case I mess something up, I can double check what I'm reserving before I go ahead and complete my transaction. And then brings us to our receipts. So from here, our receipts can be customized. Put your logo up top here, put your information, and then also we can change from location to location with those receipt templates, because you probably have different contact information at your different locations. So list out my account information, everything listed out here, prompt question answers, and also your waivers. I highly recommend attaching your waivers to the receipts. The more times the public can see no alcohol or no smoking, the better chances they might listen. Sorry, we can't guarantee it, but it increases our chances. And then with the tickets, they are attached right here to your receipt in case anyone pulls that dad move and forgets the tickets at home on the counter when you show up to Christmas lunch with Santa or the concert in the park. I know no one's ever experienced this before, so I can pull this up on my cell phone when I get to the event, and then you as staff, Taylor, can then scan my ticket with your smartphone's camera device. I don't have to have a separate scanner to scan that ticket. You can do it right there with your smartphone. All right, a couple things up here. We can email that receipt out, and then we can also share this on Facebook and Twitter. That way you literally let your citizens do advertising for you as well, and it has a link so they can click on that. Okay. Any other questions here on the public side? I know I had a short list of things to cover. I'm kind of going over, but anything else you guys want to see here on the public side or questions before we go back to the internal side and show you the reports?
Questions?
Are there any cities near us that are using this program already?
Dustin, what cities near us that are using Civic Rec right now? I know Brian has told us a couple times, but it's spacing me.
Hey, this is Brian. I can take that question, Dustin. So near you guys, off the top of my head, you got Fishers, Indiana. You got Warsaw, Indiana. You have Evansville, Indiana, Lake County, Indiana, Cherryville, Indiana, and that's just one of them. And I can send you a full list if you'd like more of them. Does that work for now?
Yes, Brian, thank you. Does anyone else have questions at all right now? So far? I don't think so, Brian, with questions right now at least.
Okay, sounds great. I'll let you go, Dustin. All right, perfect. And one last thing here before I hop over the calendar view, very important for moms in the room. They can upload this calendar. It shows everything going on. They can export this out to their iCal, Google, or Outlook calendars and have it right there on their cell phone and never have to log into the system to see what's going on.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
What's that?
I said that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so back on the internal side, showing with reports. Our reports, we've got about 150 different canned reports in the system. So as soon as data begins in the system and enters into the system, you can run a report based off of that information. Now, even though they are canned reports, this is our own proprietary report functionality. We can still customize those reports as well. So once again, in my transaction detail report here, I'll click on that, I'll go inside, I'm going to run this report for you so you can see what it looks like as the canned report. So without doing any modifications, without editing or customizing it, here's what you get for that transaction detail report. Now I can go in here and change my dates, timestamps. Now if I want to filter things out, so maybe I only want to see cash transactions or only things happening at the adventure park or the pool, or narrow it down to the employee or the payer. A lot of groups see a huge increase in mobile and online transactions. I want them to move over to Civic Rec, so it's kind of cool to filter out and see what kind of numbers they're getting there. And then if we want to add in more information to the report, that's when we check our Fields tab. This right here adds in columns of information to that report. So if I need the check number on that report, or if I also want the payment count, or very popular is the prompt responses. So all those prompts that we asked, I want to add the emergency contact to that report. I also need to know the allergies for everyone signed up for this activity. Now I can rerun that report. As you can see on the right-hand side, it adds the allergy column and the emergency contact column.
Cool.
Okay. All right. Seems simple enough?
What was that?
Does it seem simple enough?
Yes, and that's kind of more for, just to explain to the board, the reporting side is more for us in the office. So we kind of really wanted you guys to see it as a user. The reporting stuff is basically for our use only. You guys, as a user, would never use the reports. Yeah.
Things that we'd want to be aware of, like the allergies and things like that.
Yeah.
So any health issues.
For numbers for you and
Right.
that kind of stuff.
It all sounds very reasonable, and it's something obviously that I think you approve of.
Yeah, they've researched it, and this is the best program out there that for the money, I thought. So.
Yeah.
Great, do you want a motion to approve or what?
Well, does he have more?
Well, I think Taylor and I were just going to give a brief
Okay.
description of how it would be helpful to the two of us real quick, and we can let Dustin get off the phone here. But
Yeah.
Dustin, this has been great. Thank you so much for presenting to us tonight.
Hey, you're welcome. Any other questions or whatnot, let me know.
Okay.
Our job is to make life easier for you as staff and help the community. So
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.
you're welcome.
Thank
Thanks you
you.
guys too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay.
So I know that was a lot, but Taylor and I basically wanted to break it down a little bit further. So obviously Lebanon, the Parks Department isn't huge like some of these places, but it is helpful for program registration, facility rentals. Taylor and I are constantly answering the phones in the office just to take a rental for a shelter. So if someone could go online and do it themselves, it would save us a lot of time and other people a lot of time rather than them having to come into the office, fill out the form, submit payment and all of that when they can do it right at their fingertips. So that will generate more people for us as well as far as program registration and facility rentals. And then eventually we want to grow possibly into like sports leagues and things like that, so this can also handle that as well, and it's a great tool for that. And then I know Taylor has some things that she really likes doing as well.
I like all the reporting on it. Square has reporting, obviously, that we're able to do from this, but this can go even deeper than what we can already do. And you all know John likes the specific number of pickles and all that good stuff. But this can do that and more. So right now, yes, it is a very big. I would say it's much larger than obviously what we need at this time, but we all know that parks are growing, and I'd rather be ahead of the game than behind the game, because right now I kind of feel like we're a little bit behind. But with this having, everyone knows everyone loves things right at their fingertips, and they wanted immediate gratification, and right now that we can't give them that. And I do see people who are frustrated who, well, I can't get there by 4, I can't do this, or I can't do that. So having everything online ready for them to go is, I feel like, honestly, will make our lives so much easier in the summer, because if you walk in our office at all during the summer, there's no sitting, there's no resting, there's nothing. The phone's either off the hook, or we have a line at the door for pool passes. Another positive about this, you kind of saw it with the the tickets that he showed you, that's how our pool passes will now be. They will be able to be scanned. They can do everything online. They'll have a barcode, and we can use our pre-existing iPads to just scan those as they come into the pool. So we can not only track how many's in there at a time, but who exactly is in our pool at that time and what time they left. If we have a scan in and scan out. And
We have
that's
parents,
something.
yeah, we have parents that come and they're like, do you know if my child was here today? And we're like, we have no idea. So
Yeah.
this is liability wise, like great for us to be able to track that as well. So, and yeah, the pool passes I think will be a huge saver as well. If people can go online and do it themselves, and then we can print them in house for them still. So they'll still be in the cards form,
they
or they
should.
can have it on their phone.
Yep.
So either option, but at least they can have that set up and ready for us to print for them. So.
Have we been told what the cost is on this, John?
Yes, yeah, we aren't gonna, I don't know that we aren't getting any other bids. We already have 3 bids, correct? So yes, and they're the lowest bid, so yes, you can disclose the price.
We
yeah.
sat in another webinar with another company, and I asked one question, and in a second that they couldn't answer my question, I kind of checked out, to be honest with you, but it was about State Board of Accounts, and I knew the second that they weren't accommodating with State Board of Accounts, it
Wasn't gonna work.
yeah.
Wasn't gonna fly, all
Yeah.
right.
And Brian actually brought up, who was one of the guys on the phone, he's the one who brought that up, that they're approved by government, State Board of Accounts and all that, they're already checked. So I already know that that's gonna check off the list, so.
And what is the price?
So for initial startup, it's 17,000. That's all of our training, that's, all the software, everything, and then from there on out, it's 4,400 a year. To have this. And again, like I said, it is definitely a bigger hub, but it's something that we can grow into. And I don't see us outgrowing that anytime soon. And I feel like it's just going to better us and hopefully bring even more people to the parks. Yeah.
How long have they been in existence?
They took over, what he was saying, they took over Rec 1 or something. I don't think their Civic Rec part has been there for more than 3 years, but it just started booming. They are like bursting at the seams. I believe he gave us, what was his timeline? Because they're so busy
20
right
months.
Yeah, it was 20 months to get all the
everything
software up to date and going too.
Yeah.
But with our dog park and our different programming that we have, if we expand on programs, there's a lot of.
20 weeks.
20 weeks.
20 weeks, there you go.
I was like, wait, 20 months.
Freaking out there for a second.
I was like, what? Yeah, 20
2
weeks.
years.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's like 367 a month. Is there like a continuing ed on it or a continued upgrade?
Yeah,
A lot of
so
software
He kind
programs.
of hit on that a little bit. He said if they add something new, here's a perfect example because John even asked this question. So they are looking at, I don't think anytime within the next year, but they're looking into doing it like an inventory system. And John has been gung-ho about having an inventory system where all of our equipment has barcodes where we can go
Playground
in and
equipment, everything to tell the maintenance records and
Yep.
everything. So we barcode it and we can actually find out how long and when that was purchased and
Yep.
where it was purchased. We have playground equipment, we have no idea of anything on it, and it's real hard to research some of that
So
stuff.
when they add that, that will just, whatever they add to this package is ours. So if they keep growing
And
adding things-
how long does that last in the sense, I mean, at some point, the software programmer, the software developers will, basically say, okay, now you have to pay to a good example is QuickBooks.
Well,
Yeah.
you can go ahead, John. My thought was they do it based on your population and how much revenue you're bringing in, and they already told us that they overshot us. That way we wouldn't be outgrowing as quickly. So they basically did it. I had to send revenue to them, how much revenue we bring in, and our population, and that's kind of how they based our yearly fee off that. He says he doesn't typically see anybody's price. It's not like every year it's going to be increased by any means.
If we would go to a community center, if we expand our pool, these different things, plus the idea that people nowadays are wanting to come in and book everything. We've tried it a couple different ways to try and do that ourselves in-house, and it was complete failures. We were double booking. It just didn't work out. So with their experience and asking other parks departments of what they use, a lot of them steered they couldn't afford this. And yeah, it is higher end. There's no doubt about it. It's higher end than some of them, but for the package that we are getting, it is cost effective.
They're definitely the
Yeah.
most knowledgeable that we've talked to, they've
Yeah.
been able to answer any of our questions. We've met with them
Danville, I
3
think,
times.
what Danville isn't
Danville
using, they
has-
would love to use them. They have a similar,
They said
but
they have
yeah.
a bare minimum software right now.
They're actually directed us to them, did they not? Or
They directed us to the one, people who I asked about.
they
the,
couldn't answer, yeah,
that couldn't
okay,
answer
you're
my
right.
question, and I was kind of like,
Yeah,
So have you talked to current users?
of this program, no, I have not talked to current users on
I would really encourage you to do that,
Yeah.
because sometimes that can give you
Sure.
some tips about things to troubleshoot.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Definitely.
And the 4,400 a year, that includes maintenance and updates,
Yep.
right?
Yes, that's everything.
And
yeah.
that's like,
Training, everything.
yeah, they're available 24/7 for call, like if we have questions or whatever. It's
Okay.
everything, yep.
Yeah.
So
that's
are
really
you
not
locked
that
in
bad.
for so many years, like a contract with them or anything like that?
No, but it's year to year.
that initial investment's where they get you.
Yeah.
Right, for the
That-
for the,
that's- yeah.
yeah, for the training and the software.
Like I said, we can still utilize all of our iPads that we have. It would just be maybe adding
A scanner, a
Yeah.
barcode scanner.
additional, because we can scan off our iPads, but maybe
Mm-hmm.
adding like a desktop, another desktop in the front.
Yeah.
But other than that, we can utilize all the stuff that we already have. So it's not like our Square equipment is going to go to waste, because we can still use that.
And you can have as many hooked into this as possible, correct, as far as your different computers and so forth? Sometimes you can only have so many users.
Yes, they said no more than 10, but we don't.
We wouldn't-
That'd be the license fee, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you, ladies, for
yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for sitting.
Okay,
for the
it sounds really good. It sounds like what you need, because I know everything you're doing is a lot still by hand now. And this
Yeah.
would be a good tracking thing for the pool.
Yeah, and in the general fund there, in the pool, the concessions, I don't even think I gave them a copy. We have plenty of money to take care of that through concessions, which is a non-reverting fund. We're still looking into a couple things, probably making some phone calls is a great suggestion there. We'll do that.
Yeah,
But we do have the monies, is what I'm saying, and then with concession profits, paying for that out of the concession profits. But I think a benefit also when we expand our programs, if we do get into youth sports, any kind of activities, tracking systems, also making sure that everybody's doing it. Right now, we do pretty much trust our youth football, our soccer leagues to turn in that information to us, but we don't have actually their health issues or anything like that. We've had a couple incidents at the park where it would have been nice had they had a scan and we could have scanned them and found out right away what's wrong with them, that they have epilepsy or whatever they had. I forget what, couple of them diabetes, or we had a couple incidents. It'd been nice for the EMTs to know that right away rather than trying to get their parents on the phone. We've had a couple incidents like that. But oh well, that's...
Will the software be able to be used also at the concession stand as far as, so that'll be able to be linked into,
In the dog park.
Yes,
Yes.
basically everything. So dog park, everything,
what if you had a concession stand, say, out at Reese Park? Or if you had, I mean, you
Yes.
could
Yes.
utilize it everywhere and
yes.
it would be able
And
to
it
be...
has, like Square does our inventory right now. It has an inventory system. It has everything beyond. And for the dog park, how you can utilize it would be for all the paperwork that you would have. You can insert the dog information, the shot records, everything. It would be the only thing that wouldn't do for the dog park would be the security, would be the fobs to get
Right.
in and out.
Did I hear him say that it's backed up through Chrome, or is it a different type of backing up system? Do you know?
It's through like it's a browser system, so I think he was just saying you can use
any-
Internet Explorer, Chrome, or Safari.
It's
but
web-based, is what he's
It's
saying.
web-based, yeah. It's not a specific software that's downloaded to your computer.
Yeah.
And if
Which
we...
is nice for us, because if we're remote somewhere, if we need to log in, we can get there at any time.
Yep.
And you don't have to worry about it being stored on a server.
Right.
No.
Yes. Yeah.
If we go to a community center or something like that, it'd be great for all the records that we go there. Hopefully someday we will get to that. Getting it on the entry level, that $4,400 doesn't seem like very much with all the benefits that we get.
No, your initial fee, I mean, that's really not
Yeah,
that
it's-
bad for what, I mean, this is, looks like it's limitless, or no limit at what it can do, and you can customize a lot of your own things, which I like that.
Yeah,
But-
we're really excited about it and hopeful for it. I think
And they were the best out of the others that we
Yeah.
contacted, I know that.
I really like the mobile aspect of it too, and I don't know, I just, as a young mom, and I know my son's gonna get into more activities, but having everything right there where I can just scan in from my phone is amazing. So I think that'll be really nice for our community as well, to have those.
Yeah, I know the mayor's talked about a concert series or something like that,
Right,
so
and
that's,
there's a perfect place,
yeah.
everything's online, they can check out online, they can do it all.
buy tickets, everything, and then
Yeah.
boom, have their phone and, yeah.
And obviously Taylor and I will still be around for anybody that wants to
Sure.
come into the office
Oh, right.
and still do it
Right.
by hand, but this is just a great tool to have.
I think it would be a good idea if you talk to a couple other places just to make sure, but I mean, you know, you're the ones that are going to use it and you seem enthusiastic about it and it sounds really good. I mean, I know it's more than what we need right now, but I can see a lot of need for it right now with everything we have, so.
Still with the people that are elderly that don't have don't use the computers for anything, they want to come in.
Yeah, you
We
can
can
still
set
do it
we
online.
can still,
Yeah.
we can still go ahead and have those people that are waiting outside our, our office at 6 o'clock in the morning, book that for the next year. We can set the program back where people can't get into it till after that Monday at 10 o'clock or whatever, to let those people that want that reserve that shelter every year, year after year for their reunion, that don't use any kind of, technology at all. So that was a big concern of mine, because we do.
We do. I mean,
We
that's
have
a
5
great point.
people lined up outside the door waiting to rent that shelter that next year, and they aren't going to do that. And I don't want somebody to cut in that's, because they're techno savvy, get in there and beat these people that have had that
But you can
shelter
put
for
a hold
30
on it.
years.
Yes, so there's
Yeah.
like
Put
a
a
calendar
whole-
that we can go
Yeah.
in and be like, Mr. and Mrs. Smith want this for next year, let's go ahead and hold it until they can make their payment, because
Yep.
we know that they do it every year, so
Yeah.
we can definitely do that for them.
And I think another point that I know you always talk about is being able to target our audience. And we haven't
Yes.
had a database for that to go in. So as the example you're showing us, they could put what it was for, a birthday, or their kid is a 4-year-old, and like we can specifically target, if we have all their information, we can start a newsletter and send out, okay, we want to send this newsletter specifically targeting
4 to
Daddy,
10,
daughter
4 to
dance.
10-year-olds,
4 to
or
10-year-olds,
yeah.
So
yeah.
let's send them our daddy-daughter dance, let's send them swim lessons, and let's send them something else. Or if we have someone for Adult Swim, we can specifically target them and send them Adult Swim stuff, or, and I know John has always really wanted that, and it's just been hard for us to collect that type of data.
Manually.
So when they go in, so basically what you have to do is create an account on here. So when they go in and create an account, we'll have a couple, basic questions. That way we can start targeting our audiences, have their emails. That way we can send out our e-letter or whatever we want to send out at that time. We can send that to them. They can also have that at their fingertips. That way they don't have to, come into the park or look at our Facebook page or whatever. They can just have it, and it's sent to them monthly, and they know what's going on in the parks.
That's great.
I don't have that.
If I understood John correctly, you were talking about keeping information in there also about medical conditions and things like that. I don't know if you already have a policy as such, but if you're going to start collecting information like that, then HIPAA is really important to be aware of that. So there may need to be a policy related to that, as well as training to make sure that information is protected.
We haven't collected that information, so that's something that we would definitely have to look into. I just do think that it's good to have on file, especially for swim lessons when we have, 50 small little ones in our hands, and if something happens, or
Even if, I think there's probably a way, if they are signing up for a pool pass, that they can go in and say this specific child has this issue, so when they sign in for the day, like, that'll pop up on the screen. But yeah, we'll have to look in to see what we can actually.
Only on a need-to-know basis
put
should that
out.
information be
Right.
shared. It's
Right.
very
Yep.
particular.
Yes, yep.
John, do you need a vote of confidence from the board?
Yeah, I just think before I go to the clerk treasurer and the mayor, I've discussed it briefly with him, but, yeah, that's, you guys are the ruling board, so absolutely.
Let's do that then. Let's take.
Make a motion. There you go.
Vote of confidence for John to pursue this.
Okay, that's a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So the next process will go before the clerk treasurer and discuss it with her, and probably, hopefully those guys can fly in, or one's normally around, but the other guy flying in yeah.
Pretty much if we need them here.
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, they were out of town, huh? Where are they out of? They're out of, yeah, and he.
Actually, that's what Texas is, but he is our regional sales guys out.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you, board.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. John, are you ready to give the director's report?
Yes, sure will. Lebanon Youth Football League had a great season, wrapped up with the Super Bowl. Just fun time out there. They did a lot of traveling too. I believe they won the Sagamore Conference, or what they call the trophy out there. So they had a real good season, and their All-Stars did too. Thanks to the Lebanon Youth Football Board and everyone there that's involved, and the many volunteers did a real nice job keeping the field clean for us. Just did a great job. We just winterized that facility today ourselves, so ready to start it up in the spring when we get going. The Boys and Girls Club Soccer also wrapped up. Had a heck of a lot of rain, a lot of delays. They had some personnel issues where they didn't do that well about getting games on time. They finally got them in, though, after the weather broke. I want to thank them for all their help out there, and they also did a nice job of cleaning up after themselves and taking care of it. Fright Forest, the girls just left. Thank them for all their hard work. It was a big success again this year. I think we had 8, 9 scenes. All the volunteers put many, many hours in. A couple of them take their vacations around that time. Can't tell you about all the work. The Parks Department itself puts in about 3 weeks prior to that and a week after to clean it up. It's a lot on the Parks Department. Kind of set us back a couple weeks because we're trying to get other things done. However, I want to thank them and the many volunteers and countless hours that they put in throughout it was cold and rainy too. That Friday was just nasty. Also, the Heart of Lebanon and the downtown, they working with us on that, and the hayride, bringing in a bunch of people, worked out really good. The Fright Free was incredible this year too on this Saturday, but it's nice to work with the downtown and collaborating with the Heart of Lebanon. They're a nice group to work with. Conservation Club is now closed for the season. We closed it up the 1st of November. Took out the portalette, both there and at the hot pond. And again, we've closed it down. That way we aren't going out, and I don't know who fishes in the winter. There probably are, but we just don't want to take any chances, so we closed it down. We will open it back up in the spring and possibly extend hours. We'll see what we do there. But right now it worked out very well. I had quite a bunch of good input on that. We've started cleaning up down there. I think a couple of you have seen where we've cleaned the bank out. Just looks absolutely gorgeous. And hopefully we'll get all the way around the park there again. That was 2.5 weeks of work. And then boom, all 8 guys were down at the trail getting it prepared, making sure that it's safe, cutting all the branches. But we had to stop our focus on other things. We've started putting Christmas lights out. Started that the last week. Unbelievable, hard to believe this November and Thanksgiving's coming up. I just can't get over it. Our lights will officially be turned on Thanksgiving evening. Talked to the Heinies. They have donated all the scenes that we have with the exception of the penguins. That was donated by the concession stand at the middle school, those little scenes. I don't know if you've seen them, the teeter-totter and the sled, and, anyway, but they are going to donate some more scenes to us, and I want to thank the Heine family. There again, the Heine's were also huge down there at the trail, at the Honda Trail. They'll put in probably 7 or 8 scenes for the Christmas parade that we'll have, which will go on December 1st. Big day at the Christmas at the cabin. Christmas parade will be Saturday, October 1st. Christmas in the cabin will be from 9:30 to 1, and you can visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus, take pictures with the kids, along with face painting and goodies. The Christmas parade will start in the park at 6 and make its way to the square. More information and entering a float, and just contact the park office. Allison or Taylor will be able to help you. We also got another carriage ride due to popular demand, and that's donated. Not sure who with yet. We haven't got contact back with them, but we're going to have 2 carriage rides that'll be going on because there's so much demand. And you can sign up for those carriage rides as of November 1st. So if you're interested in carriage rides, give a call to the park. The future of the Big 4 Trail is up for discussion. The meeting will be November 12th. It's a summit, or November 13th at 6:30 at the Boone County Fairgrounds and Farm Bureau Community Building. We had a nice meeting, the pre-summit, I guess you could call it, last week. You had public safety, the sheriff's department, the Zionsville fire department, the Lebanon fire department, the Lebanon police department, Thorntown marshal, all the parks directors from Thorntown, Whitestown, obviously Lebanon, and Zionsville mayor, Dax Norton from Whitestown. Just everybody's very involved, with quite a few county commissioners and council members there. Want to thank them all for their help, but talking about expanding from the trail from Thorntown now to Colfax, and also trying to connect it from Lebanon to Zionsville, which I think it stops about 96th Street, but it goes to Indianapolis. Anyway, there's quite a few different properties we're looking at. If anybody's interested, which I hope you are, come and show your support on November 13th at 6:30 at the Boone County Fairgrounds Farm Bureau Building. We'll be posting that on our page too. But it's really nice to see the energy that we had. I know 10 years ago, it was Dave Cook, Richard Stroop, and several others on that committee that were trying to get money. Mitch Daniels was helping us, so we've come a long way, but we want to keep the momentum and get that trail taken care of all the way in connectivity. So you could go from Indianapolis all the way to Colfax, which eventually to Lafayette, and that's just, it's outstanding. There is some monies that's coming through, but yeah, the county's on board with it and trying to work in that direction. So anything you can come, if you can come and help support, we'd sure appreciate the support. I'm just real proud of the momentum that it's got and the interest. Obviously, we're going to be connecting through town, coming up Main Street, going by the Arc next year, up Main Street to downtown, then connecting. You can go to either way to the Memorial Park, down East Street, or to Abner. We're looking at different avenues how to connect it there too. I think you'll be going down Meridian Street over to the municipal building, then hit East Street to go that way. But we're working on the connectivity there throughout the town. And I'm very excited about that. Anyway, the splash pad update, I've already updated all those in the pre-bid meeting, and I think that's about it. A real exciting time right now, and we have several projects going and several more to come. Looking at lighting, what else? The Rotary, their cupola came in this last week. I think I'm meeting with Mr. Milburn from the Rotary tomorrow with their cupola, which is going to go on the Memorial Shelter. I think he described it to all of you. It came in, and it's sharp looking. It really is. Funny that came in first, but yeah, we should probably try and do the roof yet this fall, hopefully. There again, we don't know. Another thing that I wanted you all to be aware of, that we will be taking, the Parks Department will be taking care of the downtown sidewalks from inside the limestone wall, and the sidewalks all the way, and the sidewalks all the way up to the building, of the fronts of the buildings of all the businesses downtown. we will be taking care of all of that. And
The inside of the square?
from the inside, the courthouse used to do it, but since we poured all the cement and all that, we will be taking care from the concrete, from the walls of the courthouse all the way to the buildings. And I just thought you should be aware that we will be taking care of that. Trees have gone in downtown and bushes are starting to go in. So that's something that we'll take care of, obviously, also. But
What kind of trees did they put in?
all kinds of different varieties. John can tell you, he's better tree ID. They're kind of, all the leaves are off of them now, so I haven't either, to be quite honest. All I know that's coming at us. The big circles that you see up there are not hot tubs. They're not grape stomping things for wine. Those are going to be flower beds, plants. Plants will go in those, and we'll be taking care of that
Take a
coming
lot
up.
of plans.
There's a lot.
Do we have the equipment to do snow removal without
The street department,
damaging anything?
well, we're looking into that, and Kevin, the engineer, or Kevin Krulik, our city engineer, are gonna look at the specs of what we can apply on the concrete without puckering it or ruin the warranty on it. I don't know. John probably knows more than anybody. I don't know what to put on concrete.
The trail too, because you can't just use a plow
Yeah,
on
and the
that.
trail, we won't be putting on the asphalt trail, we'll be just scraping it, but downtown, we're gonna have to take care, because there's a lot of people in and out of there, so we will be spending a lot of time with snow blowers, shovels,
I was
and
gonna say
everything to
with the
take care of that.
pavers, that's why I say, do we have with the pavers?
And the pavers, as far as the pavers, the street department has one truck designated down there, but we do have a Kubota that the street department gave us with a rubber blade that will probably be helping. I mean, where to push it, and it's gonna be a little experience first couple times,
Right,
we'll
but I
get it.
just wanted to make
yeah.
sure we have the equipment that we're not gonna
Yeah.
damage anything with, because I know
Yeah.
those pavers are,
Yeah.
you can't just.
Yeah, you can't use steel
Rubber
blades.
blades,
We've
so-
spoke with Franklin a little bit to see how they did it, but
Uh-huh.
probably rubber blades, and we'll just see how we do it. If we have to broom it, we've looked at,
I'm gonna say, I think we really ought to look at more of a broom.
yeah, we've got the
Rubber-type broom versus,
yeah, we've looked at the Bobcat where it's got a broom on it, and you can spray water to keep the dust down, but I'm wondering if you could put a brine system down to, we're looking at different things, but we'll help the street department out. Dave's obviously new to the position.
Right.
Very familiar with how to push snow and take care of that, but it's gonna be an experience that first couple of times.
Yeah,
But I just wanted you to know that
yeah.
that's getting added to the Parks Department's plate. We will be responsible for that. I think you already knew that, but
Yeah.
just to make sure that everybody's
How
aware
much
that.
does that overlap with what the street department does? I don't understand that.
They didn't do the sidewalks.
Yeah,
This
they
is
never-
all new.
Yeah.
This is all, nobody did
Since
sidewalks.
we've
Courthouse
invested in the
did the sidewalks.
concrete and obviously the trail would have been ours anyway, but, and the flower beds, but the sidewalks, that's just, at least for this year. The courthouse used to take care of inside the square, and we are going to, I think, probably with the warranties and all that, I don't know, we'll take care of that. Good thing is, there aren't any curbs, I think it's pretty flat, so that'll be,
It'll help.
yeah, it should.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I just
and
wanted-
it's looking good down there. The lights are going in, and the trees and the plant material. So moving forward, and we'll try and figure out what we can put on that concrete so people don't slip and fall. But
should be able to just do the ice melt. I mean,
I'm hoping so.
Well, I
yeah.
mean-
But you have to
When I-
be careful because you've got the pavers right next to the
Well,
concrete.
but-
That's what I'm.
but the ice melt should be okay with the papers.
Yeah.
But I
But
talked-
should be, I want to make sure
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
you know,
Same here.
should be.
Well, in Franklin, they actually put their salt that they put on the streets on the pavers and the sidewalks,
I just wanna
and
make
it held up.
sure
The
that
paper-
they don't
the papers
come
are
back.
That's why that's in
supposed to-
Kevin Krulik's hands to figure out what and decide.
Okay.
We'll purchase it,
Just as
but
long as it isn't all
The-
on the,
yeah,
on the
yeah.
car.
The pavers are supposed to be
Oh.
warranted lifetime as long as it's ice melt and it's not salt
Okay.
applicated.
Yeah.
As long as we have all that written and we,
Yeah.
yeah,
There you go.
in writing, so they don't come back saying.
yeah, absolutely. I'm
Because my
taking their
concern-
recommendations on that, and it's
My
yeah.
concern is you've got the concrete and then the pavers, so,
There you go.
okay.
But other than that, we're moving right along, and hopefully these projects are going
Got you go.
by this spring. We'll have them going.
Okay, any other questions or comments to come before the board? Okay, if there are none, if everyone's had a chance to look at the claims, I would entertain a motion to approve the claims.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. If there's nothing else to come.
Meeting for December? Are we going to meet in December? Or we will, or? I don't know.
We usually do.
Okay, I just wanted to,
I
yeah.
didn't know.
I didn't know what the date was. That's,
It is,
Well, wait, I could tell you.
I don't know,
The
somebody asked me that
December
today.
5th.
I said,
December
yeah, why
5th.
wouldn't we? But okay, December 5th.
December 5th is the
Okay.
next meeting.
There you go.
Okay. Now I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Thank you for joining us this evening.
So you already bought ice melt and so forth?